Okay, so hello, it's time for something a bit different. So this is my old g-wagon. I'm here up at my dad's place. He told me on the phone earlier today that the tarp I have covering the truck in the winter had blown off. It's been quite windy today. I usually keep it just parked here under a tarp in the winter because there's so much road salt being used here, and I don't want this to get even more rusty than it is. So you have probably seen this in some of my airsoft videos and in the one with video Mangs, my friend, uploaded from Berget. And I figured I might just make a little video on it and tell you about it. Like, oh, so there's been growing some mold on my steering wheel. That's not very cozy. See if I can get that with something. Now, there's not gonna be any trip to Berget this summer. It's been cancelled because of the coronavirus. There's also not gonna be any trips with this truck to my cabin in the Easter next week, which was the plan, but that's also been cancelled because the government here has banned all trips to cabins and vacation homes unless they are in the municipality where you are registered as living. Let's see if I can get this nasty stuff here. There we go. Oh yeah. It's a good thing it's windy, or this truck would probably smell quite moldy. Oh yeah, just cleans right up. So, she's been parked for a few months without being touched. I wonder if she will start. Let's find out. First, let's check the oil and coolant. So, this was originally a 240 GD with the OM616 4-cylinder 2.4 liter diesel. It's been swapped by a previous owner, and this is the OM617 5-cylinder 3 liter diesel. I had a truck like this before. This is Adler 4, my last one was Adler 3. And I did the same mod to it, so it's not a hard mod to do. Cool. Yeah, plenty of oil. And plenty of coolant. But not plenty of power, so I will need to get my charger from my friend who has it and charge the batteries. Because the glow plugs are supposed to come on, and well, it doesn't even have enough to crank the starter over. So that's it for this episode. I will be back soon with more power and get this thing started. We'll see you then. Goodbye and take care. Alright, so I decided to use my daily driver here, the Ford Transit, to charge 1-on-1 battery. Because this truck is a 24-volt truck. Because it's a military truck, and that's the NATO standard. And while doing that, I also realized that this connecting cable, connecting the two 12-volt batteries in a series, had a broken clamp. I'm gonna change that, and maybe we'll get this started today. Alright, so I changed the battery connector here, and I got the batteries charged to around 13.3 volt each. That's not fully charged, but it's something. So let's see if this truck is gonna chooch. Close the door so you don't have to listen to the wind. Nah, that's not enough. Needs more power. Alright, so I tried with a Ford still connected. The Transit Ford Connect still connected to the batteries. Charged one, still charging the other. You can see the glow plug is on. It's getting a little bit weak. No chooch from the starter. So I'll keep trying. Okay, we are back. That's a faint sign of life from the starter. So we are on the right track. That's an improvement, but it's still not enough power, so it will have to keep charging for a little while more, and then we'll be back and start this truck. Okay, so we got glow plug action. Gonna leave them on for a little bit before I start cranking. I'm actually not I'm not supposed to start cranking before the glow plugs turn off, but that takes a while and I don't know if I have enough power for that, so let's just go. Oh yeah. Let's take some hand throttle on and keep it there. started, it runs. Let's just get this key back on there. And it looks like it's charging. This amp meter is it's not completely correct, but at least not far in the minus. And I think we have oil pressure. At least the warning lamp is not shining. Okay, there we've got charge. Alright. That's cool. Let's bring the RPM up a little bit. Lock it down there. These trucks have hand throttles, so you can easily bring them to a fast idle like this. So, while we're sitting here, let me show you its features. It's got a 4-speed manual. It's got a transfer case. Now it's in S. That stands for Straße, or street. It's German. That means high range and rear wheel drive. Then you get SA, which is up here and also up here. That's pretty much the same position. That means Straße Allrad, or street all-wheel drive. That's high range and 4-wheel drive. This truck does not have a center diff, so when you're in 4-wheel drive, power is always 50-50 front to rear. And you can put it in neutral if you for some reason want to do that. Can be handy sometimes, like if you're changing the prop shaft between the transmission and transfer case. It's nice to have both in neutral so you can spin it around and get to all the bolts. And then you got GA, or Geländewagen. That's all-wheel drive and low range. That combined with these are hydraulic differential lockers, rear, front. Then you got some pretty good off-road capabilities. Then you got the military style light switch here. That's normal day mode, daylights. You can also put it into combat lights, or blackout marker lights, I think they're called in English. Where we have these tiny little lamps that just shine a little bit of light on the ground in front of you, but they're not visible from, well, not that visible by others. And I also installed a radio, and you got the heater and ventilation stuff there, fan. Then you got a diesel heater, auxiliary, so you can heat up the coolant, and even without the engine running. And then you have another fan back here, so you can get warm temperature for all the guys sitting in the back. And again, speakers and a roof hatch installed by me. Cooler is also not standard military equipment. That fuel warning light is always on, nothing to worry about. That's my mascot, the guy from Barbecue Pit Boys. This is an extra 12 volt converter that I can turn on to run the radio and auxiliary stuff. Let's see if I can turn the radio on. I can. However, the FM net in Norway has closed down, so we only have like this crappy digital radio that never has any reception. They call it Progress. So that's my truck. Whenever I get to use it next, I don't know. There's Corona stuff going on. But you'll see it again. Until then, goodbye and take care. Okay, so I went for a little drive and I decided to come back and pick up the camera again. And just take you guys for a little trip around the block. So it's coming up to temp now. The temp gauge is incorrect. It seems that the default position, the default should be in the middle here. That's normal operating temperature. This gauge shows it at like 3/4. But I've had it confirmed and checked out that it's actually running at the correct temperature. It's just a gauge that's wrong. So this is low gear in or low range in first gear, and I've put the lockers on. You can see the front locker is on, and there comes the rear. So now it's pretty hard to steer. Like it mostly just want to go straight ahead because the differentials are locked. Let's put them down, and they're gonna go off eventually. There we go. Now I can feel the steering being lighter. Let's put it back into high gear and two-wheel drive. So now it's pretty much just like a normal car. Like this truck did not have power steering from the factory, but it's been added by the previous owner together with the engine. I did the same thing to my last truck that I sold to my friend Leo, who also has my 24 volt charger, which I could really have needed. But now that it's running, I don't think it's gonna stay parked and unused for as long as it did now. At least not until next winter. So I don't think I'm gonna need the charger anytime soon. There's not a lot of what do you call it, like power loss from the batteries normally. Like it can easily stay parked for a few weeks without having the power drained from the batteries. But now it had been sitting since at least October. That's kind of sad to say, but that's how it is. And the batteries evidently didn't like that. But doesn't matter, got it started. It's charging itself now. Let's go out on the quote-unquote main road. Even the brakes work. it's early April, we've had very warm and nice weather for the past week, and we're supposed to have it next week, so it's just bad luck that it started snowing today. It's just around freezing. I don't think they've... I've seen the like street cleaner trucks out, so there's probably not any more salt left on the road. I don't think they're gonna start salting now, just over this teeny bit of snow. Seems to be running okay. Gotta find a place and turn around soon and then just go back, because I really want to get home and make some dinner. And anyway, I think the camera is about to run out of power. So if this video suddenly just stops without me saying goodbye and take care, then that's just the camera having run out. I don't think I'm gonna put the tarp back on, because looking at the forecast, you know, it's gonna be a sunny week, or at least dry once this snow stops. And so it would be better to just have it out in the open and get all this stuff dried up with help from the sun and the wind, rather than wrapping it in a heavy tarp. Turning radius on these trucks, it's really not bad. People get the impression that these are like some kind of huge tractor trucks with bad turn radius that are cumbersome, but that's really because of, you know, the military version lacking the power steering from the factory, making it really heavy on the wheel. Once you add power steering, and you can get that full range of motion from the steering without too much use of force, you realize that, no, it's really not bad. It's a bit noisy, that's because there's pretty much no insulation in the bodywork here. Just straight metal panels with a couple of rubber mats beneath your feet. There's no carpeting or anything like that. Oh, yeah, camera still running. That's nice. The weather already starting to clear. and we are getting quite a beautiful sunset here. Not sure if the camera can actually see out the window. You guys are probably just staring into the sun visor. As I said earlier, the temp gauge is incorrect. I've had that confirmed by a workshop. They had another temp gauge that they connected and tested on, and they did confirm that no, my engine was not running hot. It was just a faulty gauge. That's a very common problem with these trucks, like gauges and speedometers and stuff not working. Odometers especially, mine again not working. So it stopped at 53,000 kilometers, but it only goes to 99,000 before it turns over and back to zero. So who knows if it's 53,000 or 153 or 253. It's an 83 model. My last one was an 85. It had a lot more rust, even though it was 2 years younger, so to speak. My last one also had this insane lift kit mounted by its previous owner, like a 10 centimeter Arctic truck lift kit. So it was just way too stiff. You could feel like every little crack in the asphalt just shaking your brains out. Good for off-road though, with that ground clearance. But for any use besides hardcore off-road, it was kind of terrible. This one I've mounted ORC 40 millimeter or 4 centimeter lift springs. So it's a little bit taller than it was from the factory, but not like insanely so. Also have bigger diameter wheels, although at with the same tire width as stock. Which makes it I'm not gonna say that it's like an amazing highway cruiser or anything, but when one of your primary plans with a truck like this is to go to Berget in Sweden, and that's like a 15-hour drive on the highway every year, that's 15 hours each way. You know, you want something that's not completely terrible. And this is not completely terrible. It's not great, not terrible, as someone once said. And we are parked again. So we've hopefully charged the batteries enough that this will not be a problem to start back up next time. Ka-chonk. And that's it. That's my little truck. I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry for fondling the camera like that. Probably sounds terrible. Door is a little bit tricky. let's just end this by looking at the sunset. Alright, that was weird.